Hello, anybody who is watching this. I would say everybody, but I'm a pretty unknown channel. That doesn't bother me too much. Whatever. Today, I'm going to be talking about the top 15 things I would like to see in Legendary's Godzilla sequels. Get my hair out of my face for a second, sorry. Alright, so I have notes right behind the camera, so excuse that. Excuse if I'm like, just forget it. Number one, I think they need to make the wait worth it. So, because Gareth Edwards, it kind of makes me mad that he decided he was going to start a franchise and then run off in between sequels. So, they're working on the sequel right now, but Gareth Edwards won't be doing it until 2018, which, I would be more mad if I wasn't getting two movies that I am looking forward to so much in between then. One of them is the Toho's Godzilla. So we have that to look forward to. That's going to be next year, 2016. And then 2017, we have Skull Island. I don't know too much about that one. I know it stars Loki. So that should be good. I like that actor. I don't know his name, so don't beat me up. Yeah, that should be good. So it doesn't make me too mad that we're not getting this Godzilla movie right away. I could use it sooner, but we're still getting Godzilla in our life next year. I'm gonna take a drink. Don't make fun of the pink cup. Alright, so they need to make the wait worth it, because we're having a 4-year break in between Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla 2, which is 2018. And 4 years is almost 5 years. I don't know if you knew that. It's just 1 year difference for those of you who have advanced math skills and all. But yeah, so it's almost a 5-year wait. So it's practically half as long as the wait we had to take from Final Wars to 2014. Sorry, there's workers on my roof and it just sounded like one of them fell or something. I don't know. It was just a thud on the ceiling. So because we are having such a long wait, or a 4-year wait, yeah, he's on the roof right now. Sorry, I can just feel it. It's weird. Because we're having a 4-year wait, which is almost a 5-year wait, which is not good. Because, like I said, that is half as long as we had to wait before, and I did not enjoy the wait before. I got all hyped up because I thought the Godzilla movie was going to come out in 2012, and then when it was pushed back, I was pretty bummed, and then I kind of forgot about it for a long time until the teaser trailer was leaked last year, which got me all excited again. Anyways, so like I said, they need to make the wait worth it by making an awesome movie. And the things I think they should do in order for it to be an awesome movie is to keep it realistic. That's my number 2 thing. Is they set out on this realistic world for Godzilla that they want him to be living in. So this is going to be a more realistic continuity than we've gotten before, and we've already seen that demonstrated in the 2014 movie. And I like that, That way people can't make fun of it and say Godzilla is super fake and super stupid and I'm going to sneeze. Because, no, it's not. They gave Godzilla... I don't like Godzilla's origin, the new one that they gave him of that nuclear time that existed long before man or whatever. I think it's stupid. But we got it, so we have to live with it. So that being said, I think they need to keep it realistic, but not too realistic. It's giant monsters, so how are you going to keep it all that realistic? You're not. That's also going to come into play later when I talk about Mothra and King Ghidorah, which Legendary Studios has announced will be in the new Godzilla movie. Number 3, I think they need to continue the storyline with Dr. Serizawa and Monarch. We need familiar faces, and I don't think Ford Brody, Aaron Taylor Johnson, has all that much to offer anymore. because his character's kind of completed his goal. You know, he's back with his family, they're safe, everything's okay. We don't need him again. I mean, I like the actor. I thought he was great in Avengers, and I thought Elizabeth Olsen was great in Avengers, but we can put them aside. We don't need them anymore. And besides, it would kind of be like, why would you do it? It'd kind of be, he's in the military, so there's no purpose for us to focus on him in the sequel because, you know, he probably has more important things to do. Monarch, that is the big focus. On my Greetings Monster Island shirt, whatever. I keep getting sidetracked, I'm sorry. Okay, Monarch. They need to continue with Dr. Serizawa. I love that they added Dr. Serizawa into this new continuity, even though he has nothing to do with the original Dr. Serizawa. I think in the sequel, I didn't even write this down, because this is just something that I think that they should do, is they need to show how he gets his eye patch. I think that would be awesome. I know he got it in World War II in the original continuity. It didn't really say that, but I've watched documentaries and whatever, and it says he's a war veteran, and that was one of his scars. So, yeah. But I think in the new continuity, they need to show how this Dr. Serizawa should get an eye patch, you know, to pay even more homage to the original character, and I think that'd be pretty cool. So like I said, continue the story with Dr. Serizawa, familiar faces and all. Number 4, and this isn't a real big complaint at all, this is just kind of something that annoyed me with 2014's movie, is they need to name the Mutos from 2014. I know people call it like Fimuto and then just the male Muto, but, you know, the military's not going to call them that. Because Muto is a military acronym, massive unidentified terrestrial organism, but they need to change that because we gave Godzilla a name, or Gojira, as Dr. Serizawa calls him, even though no one else seems to call him that in the movie, which is weird, because that is the name that Serizawa gave to him, or Serizawa didn't give it to him, but Serizawa says in the conference room with Ford Brody, and yeah, Ford Brody, sorry, I got confused. And they never continued calling him Gojira, which is weird. It kind of just seems like they said it just to be like, oh, this is what the original Japanese one was called, hope you enjoyed that, and then moved on. But I think they need to name the male and female Mutos something. They, like, I don't know, I don't have any suggestions, they just need to give them a name, because Muto is a military acronym, and, sorry, voice crack. It's been confirmed that Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan are going to be in the sequels, so, or at least a sequel. So if they give them a name, and they give Godzilla a name, why wouldn't they give the Mutos a name? It's just something I find wrong with the movie. Number 5, they need to show public reactions to what is going on, because that could be really interesting, like, have news reports. On the Blu-ray for Godzilla 2014, we actually get, like, a web conspiracy page talking about Godzilla and Dr. Serizawa and Monarch and all that stuff. I think if they'd continue with stuff like that, make there be, like, public rage, I don't know, make there be, like, not riots, protests and all about why wasn't the government telling us this, why were they covering up, this is wrong, you know, a lot of stuff. Like, we see protests all the time today, you know what I'm talking about. We see that all the time, need a drink of water. And so, sorry. And so I think we need more public reaction. Like, that could be a really interesting thing they do. I actually have not seen Godzilla in 1984 or 5, either version of it. That's the one Godzilla movie I haven't seen and don't own, which actually makes me really mad. There's not very many places I can find that. But I hear that that movie handles the public reaction really well, and from the reviews I've seen done by people like James Rolfe, who did a really short review for all of the Godzilla movies, computer shut off, and Zazubaar, I don't know if any of you have heard of him, but he's pretty good at the reviews. He did a pretty in-depth analysis of that. It was good, you know. Alright, so public reactions. Number 6, they need to establish Godzilla as the bad guy. Now, I know we've already, in this continuity, said Godzilla is the good guy. He's the defender of the, the food. He's the defender of nature. He is the warrior. He keeps things in check. There he is back there. He is like the alpha predator. That's what they said. He's nature's order. That's what Dr. Serizawa says. He's the power to restore balance. But I don't think that was the case in that movie, even though that's what they said it was. I think if you actually look more in depth into it, I know GORIZARD has said so in his reviews for the movie, that maybe Godzilla wasn't doing it, and maybe he was doing that out of revenge, because at the beginning we're led to believe that the Mutos played a big role in killing off Godzilla's species, making him the last of his kind, which is another thing I have a problem with, is we don't know if Godzilla is actually the last of his kind or not. That's just what we're told. But, he burrowed under the sea, so there could be tons of Godzillas burrowed under the sea that we just don't know about yet. But anyways, that's not even something I wrote down. Establish Godzilla as a bad guy. Alright, so Godzilla can be the hero, but he has to be like an anti-hero, because I don't like... I like the show of Godzilla's, and I like what they did with him in the 2014 movie, but I think that if they say that Godzilla was doing that out of revenge, trying to get revenge on the Mutos for killing his family, I think that'd be, I think that'd be a good addition to Godzilla's character development. Sorry, I had to yawn. Showing that he, it's good for his character development, because it shows he has feelings, and it shows he's more than just this force of nature, this power to restore balance. It shows that he is a living, feeling creature. That could be a good addition to the movie, or to his character development. Making him the bad guy, I don't know if you necessarily have to make him the bad guy, but I think you have to show that he is destructive. Like in the Gamera trilogy, the Heisei Gamera trilogy, Gamera is a destructive force. He destroys people when trying to save lives, He doesn't necessarily save people. He saves children, but he's not necessarily for humankind, and that's played upon in Gamera 2 and 3, when they talk about how, what if one day we become Gamera's biggest enemy for destroying the world, because he defends the world, not the people in it. That's kind of the thing they were going off. I think if they did that with Godzilla, Godzilla defends the world. Like, it's his world, it's his food chain. He needs to save it. Kind of like what they did in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Godzilla does not have to defend humans, like kind of we see him doing this, hey, savior of our city at the end of the 2014 film. I don't know if that was necessarily even the case, because Godzilla was more of just trying to kill the Mutos off. Restoring balance to his food chain, or not even his food chain, just to restoring balance to nature. So one thing that I thought would be interesting is if they continued with Godzilla's radioactive needs. Like, this is one of the things I wrote down, I can't find it though. Is they have already established that Godzilla feeds off nuclear radiation. It's number 14 on my list. Tie in some nuclear allegory. Don't give up on the fact that Godzilla needs radiation to survive. That was my number 14. And it goes along with my number 6, which is establish Godzilla as the bad guy. I think what could be a really cool idea is if Godzilla surfaced, kind of like in Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, and he attacked a nuclear power plant. And I feel like if they did that, that way he could get nuclear energy to keep going, because maybe the radiation at the Earth's core isn't as strong anymore. Ever since he woke up, it's not doing the job anymore. So maybe he needs to start coming on land and destroying nuclear factories and all of that good stuff, just to give us some Godzilla destruction scenes where he is the bad guy, which establishes him as the anti-hero and not the superhero we saw in the later Showa films. I think that'd be a really good idea, and that would also make him more three-dimensional, like he has that. I said if they added that revenge aspect to him, we could start to see he feels, and if we made him the anti-hero, it'd be like you have to fear him. Gareth Edwards said that, the world should have to fear them. I'm not going to pull up the direct quote, but from what I've remembered is Gareth Edwards said something like, the world needs to feel like they need to create their own Godzilla or something like that. I think the only way to truly do that is to establish Godzilla as a bad guy, or at least as a destroyer. Alright, now getting into the new monsters that they have said they will be adding in, such as Rodan, which is I shouldn't say new monsters, I should say the classic monsters, is, I think they should link Rodan's origins to Godzilla's origins. Godzilla is this, we know he came from this time more nuclear, he came from the time when the world was more radioactive and all. I think if you kept in Rodan to that, it'd be really good because, in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and I keep comparing this to that movie because if the Godzilla 2, the legendary sequel, has Ghidorah, Mothra, Godzilla, and Rodan, then it's pretty much just a remake, which I think they should not do. I'll get into that later. But if they do that, it would be sort of like a remake. A little bit, not really, depending on how they do the story. But Rodan and Godzilla and Ghidorah competed for, they competed for territory. That's what they were fighting about in the beginning, before Mothra convinced them to fight Ghidorah. They were trying to convince Godzilla, or before she tried to convince Godzilla, Godzilla and Rodan were fighting over territory, who was going to be the top dog, and all that. Alright, I think, I really don't like Mothra in GMK because they didn't keep her origins all that mystical. She was a guardian monster, but I think that whole Infant Island thing that every other continuity has done with Mothra is way better. And I know I said keep it realistic earlier, but Mothra is kind of an odd one to do because there's no real way to do Mothra right if you're going to keep her realistic. So I think they need to add at least some sort of mystical element to her, but maybe they should keep it vague. That way it's not like in your face, this isn't at all realistic and all that. Keep Ghidorah's secret, or not, whoops, I read that wrong. Alright. Keep Ghidorah's origins a secret, but hint at the space monster origins from the Showa era, or at least separate his origins from Godzilla and Rodan. Like I said, I didn't like Mothra in the GMK continuity because she was, she wasn't all that mystical. She was not portrayed as, like, the loving nature goddess that she is in the Showa series. And I actually haven't seen the original Mothra or the Rebirth of Mothra 1. I own Rebirth of Mothra 2 and 3, but I've never seen the first one. So, I don't know a ton about Mothra. All I know is what I've gotten from the Godzilla movies, basically. But, anyways, I think Ghidorah needs to be separate from them. He is Godzilla's rival, so of course, whatever Godzilla is, if they make him the anti-hero, no matter what, Ghidorah's gonna have to be the bad guy. I hated Ghidorah in GMK because he was a good guy, and that should never, ever, ever, ever happen. Ghidorah and Godzilla, I get that they're supposed to be opposites, but I think that they just shouldn't have added Ghidorah in that movie for that reason, is that he would have to be a good guy, and that's not Ghidorah. I also don't like Ghidorah's origins in that movie as being the 1,000-year-old dragon. Sorry, voice crack. Because he's a monster of Earth, and that's not good to me. I don't like that. Godzilla. No, I don't know why I said that. Ghidorah in the Heisei era. I did not like his origins either because Ghidorah, to me, will always be Monster Zero. That is the very first movie I ever saw Ghidorah in, and that's the one I grew up. I'm not all grown up either, but that's the one that I mainly grew up with him in. I got the Heisei movie where Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah not that long ago, And then I've always said GMK, but I guess just recently I started to understand what it was and that he was the Guardian and he was an Earth monster and all that. I need to turn the fan on, so give me 1 second. It's really, really hot in here. Alright, so, like I said, Ghidorah I don't think he should be an Earth monster because even in the Heisei era, I did not like that because, like I said, Ghidorah will always be Monster Zero. Ghidorah was one of the more recent Godzilla movies that I've seen, and if you can hear the fan, forget it. Ghidorah was one of the more recent Godzilla movies that I bought, but because it was in the Showa era and because it was the movie right before Monster Zero, which was the one I'm really familiar with, I forgave it. Like, whatever. I didn't. Why did I say I forgave it? Sorry, I'm just all over the place. I didn't forgive it. I loved it. I loved the fact that he was a space monster and that he destroyed planets. And I don't think they could necessarily do the planet destroying thing for Ghidorah, because, you know, they're trying to make it realistic and there's still all the planets are still there and all, whatever, you know. So they need to keep Ghidorah's origin. I think if they were to do it as space monster, they would have to do it like really vague, not just throw him in your face and then go, oh, he's from space. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe there would be some way he comes down from space and starts attacking Earth. And maybe someone, I don't know, maybe the beginning of the movie is they're tracking this meteorite on a satellite, right? Like in Final Wars. And then when it gets to Earth, it's actually Ghidorah, and then Earth's monsters have to come to defend. I think they need to keep Mothra the good guy. Mothra needs to be that guardian. This is number 10. Mothra needs to be the good guy, the loving goddess, and all that. And, you know, it's going to be hard for them to recreate Mothra and have it work, but they can do it. Ghidorah needs to stay the bad guy no matter what. He needs to be opposite Godzilla, which I know I said Godzilla needs to be the bad guy, but Godzilla, like I said, Godzilla should be more of an anti-hero. He should still destroy things. Gamera destroyed things in the Heisei trilogy, and he was still the good guy. Rodan needs to be the same as Godzilla. So what I mean by that is, if Godzilla's an anti-hero, Rodan needs to be an anti-hero, and they can come into conflict with each other because of territorial stuff and the fact that their origins should be linked. Number 11, they need to introduce the monsters slowly. I don't think they should remake Ghidorah. I don't even think that they should add all 3 monsters maybe in the same movie, because then it could get a little packed, you know? Like Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, was not all that good at all because it was really packed with ideas and didn't pay off. Godzilla 2, I don't think they should just slam all the monsters in your face and say, oh my god, and then give their origins and then have Godzilla show up, because then the story becomes less about Godzilla and more about establishing these monsters. Ghidorah did not have that problem because the only monster being established in that movie was Ghidorah. Mothra had her own movie before. Sorry if you saw that. Mothra had her own movie before, and so did Rodan. And so did Godzilla, even. Godzilla had Gojira. Mothra had Mothra. Rodan had Rodan. Ghidorah was the only new monster in that movie. But because they're introducing all these 3 monsters to this continuity, they're gonna have to do it slower, and you know, that could wind up having a Peter Jackson length movie, which, sorry to say, Peter Jackson, nobody wants. Or that could wind up to having a really packed movie that doesn't really explain a lot and is just in your face. They need to have proper build-up. One thing that the Godzilla 2014 movie did, it had great build-up. That whole first act of Ford and Joe going into the quarantine zone and finding out the Muto was and all that, that was really, really good. I think they need to have proper build-up in the sequel, much like that. So, I don't know how exactly they do that, but maybe have, like, I don't know, they just, maybe there's, like, these rumors of these monsters going around. I don't know, Monarch knows, and they're freaking out because these monsters are going to destroy everything. Godzilla shows up, and then people start to freak out and wonder why, and then these other monsters. I don't know. No, I'm just guessing. I'm trying to find some way of how they could do that. They need to. This is number 13. This one is probably most important out of any of them. Give Godzilla more screen time. Godzilla only got roughly 8 minutes or so of screen time in the 2014 movie, which is around the same amount of screen time as he got in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, actually. But I don't think that would work. People did not like that, and it focused too much on the other monsters and not enough on Godzilla. So I think if they focus more on Godzilla and less on the other monsters, but at the same time introducing the other monsters and building them up and all that good stuff, it could be really good. I already did number 14, which is tying some nuclear allegory. I think Godzilla should have to attack power plants, nuclear power plants, to get radiation from them. Kind of like how in the original Gamera movie he had to attack places to get fire, that way he could eat. That's kind of the same thing I think Godzilla needs to be doing in this movie. And number 15, this one's pretty important too. They don't kill off any monsters. If you're gonna introduce lesser known monsters or ones that people don't care about, you can kill them off. But keep around Mothra, Ghidorah, Rodan, and Godzilla. They're obviously not gonna kill off Godzilla. So keep around Mothra, Ghidorah, and Rodan. Because these ones are gonna be, they could be key players in the next movies, who knows. But, you know, they're really big, important Godzilla monsters, so I don't think they should kill them off. And, you know, they haven't really killed off a lot of them in any continuities. They did in Showa. They killed Ghidorah in Destroy All Monsters. Of course, they killed off Godzilla and Gojira, but that doesn't count. That was a different Godzilla. They didn't kill off Rodan. They didn't kill off... Well, they killed off Mothra, but Mothra always had a larva. So if they are going to kill off Mothra in the new movie, make sure she has a larva that we can fall back on. Heisei, they killed Ghidorah. They killed Godzilla. I don't think they killed Mothra. I don't remember. That's not one of my favorite movies, so I haven't watched it a lot. And they killed off Rodan. Don't do that, because then they weren't able to reuse them. And if you want to reuse them in the third Godzilla, because this will be a trilogy, don't kill them off. And then in the Millennium series, none of that really matters, because the Millennium series reinvented itself every movie except for 2, which were Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which also featured Mothra, and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. That's it. So that's my top 15 things. There's only one other thing I'd like to say which wasn't on the list, and you know, I'm not going to add that in the title. I'm not going to say top 16 because I had to think of a whole bunch of stuff after I got past 10, because then I wanted top 15 because 15 is a nice round number. Anyways, they need to make Godzilla stronger. In the 2014 movie, Godzilla gets his butt kicked. There's no denying it. The Mutos win. And unless Ford Brody had blown up the Mutos' nest, the Mutos would have killed Godzilla. And that's all there is to it. Godzilla would be dead, and the Mutos would take over the world, and everything would be over. But luckily for the convenience of Ford Brody blowing up the nest, when he did, the Mutos were distracted and left Godzilla behind. And that's how he's still around, and that's how he still killed them. Even though the Mutos still probably would have won had the female Muto not been separated from the male Muto trying to attack the people on the dock and get the nuke back. That's the only reason Godzilla was able to take the upper hand on the male Muto. That's the only reason he was able to sneak up on the female Muto, is because she was distracted. So if they make Godzilla strong, and Godzilla even passes out at the end of the movie and gets crushed by a building, so these are two things that when he gets crushed by the building, like, that's understandable. He's going to be knocked down for a bit. But at the end of the movie, he kind of just collapses out of tiredness and exhaustion and the fact that he just got his butt kicked. So they need to change that. Like, I get that this is supposed to be realistic, Godzilla's supposed to show pain, but he is the king of the monsters. If he's going up against Ghidorah, who is a stronger opponent than him, he's going to need a way to beat him. And I think that way to beat him is to, you know, establish him as stronger than stronger than he was in the last movie. Maybe they do that by saying he was weak in the last movie because he didn't have as much radiation, and that's why he needs to attack the power plant. I know I keep coming back to that, but I think that's a good idea, and I think they should go with that. So, that's my video. I know it got 30 minutes, which is actually pretty long for one of my videos. This is on my channel, D-Man1954, which is my Godzilla channel. That's why it says 1954. If you go and check out my other channel, the videos are not this long. And I'd also like to give a quick thanks to Toho, because they found some of my Godzilla videos that I posted, and they didn't take them down. I posted clips from Godzilla movies, and Toho actually found them, and instead of taking them down, being mean about it, they actually just decided that they said, you can keep them up as long as we're going to be able to profit off you. So then they started sticking ads on my videos, and that doesn't bother me at all. So, thank you all. D-Man out.